Google if you read a little bit about these bump stock things. You find some amazing stuff, including who was the idiot who first approved this.
Speaking of idiots.
Yes, I know.
We'll be talking about Matt today.
I know. You want to read that text you got
yesterday?
yesterday.
Yeah, I do. Can Fletcher, I read it 100 times?
Let's settle down. Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather all this hour right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Willis Knighton's executive committee demanding that hospital CEO Jim Elrod resign gracefully or be fired by the Board of Trustees. The committee, which is made up of high-ranking medical officials and doctors, wrote a letter that claims Elrod can't keep up with the ever-changing world of healthcare and is a huge liability to the medical system. A shooting victim has died. Matt Parker has our update.
65-year-old Benny Livingston was shot in the head and killed just a few minutes after our community's National Night Out ended on Tuesday. Police believe that Livingston saw his stolen pickup truck at the intersection of Milam Street near Hearn Avenue and contacted police. However, that call got disconnected. At this time, investigators think that the person who was driving Livingston's stolen truck shot him when they realized they were being followed. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Corruption at City Hall. According to a report from KTBS, the city of Shreveport is being investigated by the FBI on possible corruption charges. The report says federal authorities are looking into the possibility of shakedowns and kickbacks dating back to the Glover administration. There is some good news from City Hall. The mayor proposing pay raises for employees. Police officers happy about the news.
We're in a position to where we can't turn down a single dime. We are tens of thousands of dollars below average pay, and everything is a positive. Everything that is given to us is appreciated very much.
Sergeant Michael Carter, president of the Police Officers Association. Visitation today in Lafayette for fallen officer Corporal Michael Middlebrook, who was killed during an exchange of gunfire at a convenience store. Police Chief Toby Aguilar says Middlebrook was born in Thibodaux and had a stellar 9-year career with Lafayette PD.
It's as if somehow he must have known, because he did it all, and he did it well. He was the spearhead who brought many people to justice in our city.
Water officials in DeSoto Parish granted a $2.3 million loan from the Department of Health to improve the water system. The parish will use the money to install a new treatment system that will allow the parish to clean water with less chlorine and other chemicals. The governor's administration boosting the size of loans available to small businesses damaged by last year's flooding and extending the deadline for applications. Tropical storm Nate along the Nicaragua coast is expected to keep heading north and be a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico this weekend. National Hurricane Specialist Robbie Berg says landfall along the Gulf Coast is likely on Sunday.
Exactly where that system will move inland along the northern Gulf Coast is highly uncertain at this point.
Authorities trying to piece together the final days before Stephen Paddock unleashed his arsenal of powerful firearms on country music fans in Vegas have at least one potential trove of information: his gambling habits. Gaming regulators say they're sorting through documents that can include suspicious transactions or currency reports. And a Massachusetts bakery's granola may be made with love, but federal officials say it shouldn't be listed as an ingredient on the package. Neshoba Brook Bakery in Concord was taken to task by the FDA for listing love as one of its ingredients. Mostly sunny today with a high temp about 88 degrees, right now 70. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Thursday already. Traffic time. Starting us off, here's Rapid Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything's all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out a little later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
You're about to die. Did I just say that on the radio?
Yeah, well, you're the one who was willing to walk out if she didn't get her own mic switch. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 13 past 6 o'clock. KEEL app's a free download. Sounds awesome. Presented by Office Furniture Source. There is so much today. One hardly knows where to begin.
I have no idea where
We've got the new Las Vegas. Have you heard?
When do I get to read this email?
You can read the email later this hour. Mm-hmm. That basically, now, I'm sure that it was a text from a listener.
Yeah.
Shreveport Security Systems text line. And though I'm sure it was well intended and to some degree well thought out.
No, I love it.
it at the same time is 100% wrong.
No, it is not
Hey,
wrong.
look, just because someone agrees with you doesn't make you right.
No, it's perfect.
Just hang on. We'll get to that later.
Shut up.
Officials believe Paddock may not have acted alone. Have you seen any of this?
Oh, come on. Please don't start that.
Sheriff, not me, the Las Vegas sheriff in charge of the investigation.
Who helped him?
Sheriff Joseph Lombardo said, quoting now, this was a press conference last night, at face value, he had to have some help at some point, and we want to ensure that that's the answer. Maybe, said the sheriff, he was superhuman who figured all this out on his own, but it would be hard for me to believe that.
He had 4 days to set up his cameras, get
Well,
his guns
no,
all
you're
ready.
missing something here. No. According to investigators now, he had been stockpiling ammunition, etc., for as much as a decade.
And he even
No, wait,
stalked a music festival a week before that.
Did you hear what I said before?
I did.
that?
A decade.
For as much as 10 years. Mm-hmm. So everybody who knows this guy, his brother is on worldwide
I know people who've stockpiled weapons. I have close friends who have thousands and thousands of rounds of ammo. Should I call and report them? That is hogwash.
But you know about it.
Absolutely know about it.
Nobody in his family, nobody close to him had the faintest idea what this guy was doing, is the point I'm making.
His girlfriend knew. I'm sure she knew.
She says she did.
She's in a house with him. She knows there's guns in the house.
So you are assuming that if you were one of the investigators, at this point, would she still be a person of interest to you?
No.
Would the fact that she got on a plane at his behest and flew to the Philippines where he wired $100,000, would this all be just some kind of coincidence? Would you, what would you be thinking?
Because I can tell you about a couple that I know. The man has dozens and dozens of guns, thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition.
No, please
okay?
don't misunderstand.
The wife lives in the home.
I'm not.
She knows about the guns.
I'm not saying that people who have a collection of guns or have ammunition are all time bombs waiting to go off.
Right.
What I'm saying is, you said at the beginning of the segment, well, he did it all in 4 days. The point I was making was, no, he had been stockpiling for as much as 10 years.
And what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Except in the end, he
Yes.
went to the 32nd floor of a hotel.
But you can't say people who've been stockpiling guns for years are doing something wrong.
That's not what I said. You said he'd done it in 4 days.
No, I said no. This particular incident, he got the hotel on Thursday, started casing the concert grounds, figured out which was going to be the great room to get to do what he wanted to do. And he did the similar thing the previous weekend for another festival where he was in a hotel overlooking a festival grounds where there were 50,000 people. But you know what? Wiz Khalifa was playing at that one.
Did you see?
It wasn't country music people.
Did you see the latest, by the way, about the jet fuel tanks?
No.
That he was firing to some degree, they believe, at these huge jet fuel tanks on the other side of the highway from the concert venue. And that if he had hit those, if he had pierced those with the bullets, it would have been an explosion like you didn't want to see.
Oh, my God.
That he was, in fact, also aiming at those tanks.
Right. I'm sure he was trying to hit the tanks. I'm sure he was trying to do as much damage as he could.
And he did.
And didn't he do enough?
And if you own a bump stock, get ready to give either, I don't know, will you get to grandfather your bump stock into your collection? Will you have to turn that? Because believe me, within the next 120, in the next 3 to 6 months, Congress will outlaw bump stocks.
Yeah, they'll be gone.
Now, you have probably said to yourself, and I've been reading a lot about this. I mean, I spent an hour and a half last night on bump stocks, how they work. Are they as dangerous as people have made, as the media has made it out to be? And you would say to yourself at some point, who said these were okay? Because it had to go through approval by the federal government, specifically ATF. The ATF approved the devices known as bump stocks in 2010. saying they do not. Wait a second. Who was president of the United States in 2010?
Gosh, I can't remember.
It was, in fact, the Obama administration's ATF director. Let me read what it says. The ATF approved the devices, saying they do not convert semi-automatic rifles into automatic weapons. Rather, they say, or said, it is an accessory that allows semi-automatic rifle owners to mimic automatic fire for short bursts. According to a Washington Post article, Rick Vasquez, the ATF official who signed off on the official documents for bump stocks, described them as, quote, goofy little doodads. Going on to say that bump stocks are, quoting again, novelty, not accuracy. They're devices that allow bursts of rapid fire, but are unpredictable because the gun's buffer tube, this is into stuff I don't understand. The gun's buffer tube can bounce around or bobble inside the device, making jams and inconsistent fire patterns likely.
Bump stocks are gone. They're going to be gone.
Yeah, because more and more Republicans, I mean, from Paul Ryan on down, they are getting on board with this, and who knows, with Democrats going to feel hot. They're going to feel empowered.
Oh, absolutely.
Who knows what other gun control measures they might try to get through with Republican help. We'll talk about that later, too. 19 past 6 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. I don't know.
I get to read my text soon.
We
so
can
excited.
read. It is a football-related text.
Oh, yeah.
And it, you know what? And it has to do.
I'm the queen.
What did Matt say? Just because somebody agrees with you doesn't mean that you're right.
Oh, yeah, it does.
We will review
All the
when we
time.
return. 20 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
It is once again the best time of day to get where you're going because everything's all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out a little later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twenty-two past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron went 12 rounds with Tiger fans during his radio show last night. Several calls were critical of his brief tenure as head coach and or his boss, athletic director Joe Oliva. One caller said Orgeron didn't earn the job, which earned a snappy retort by Orgeron, quote, I earned the job whether you like it or not. One person said the head coach was an alpha male and Oliva was more feminine, a beta. Orgeron praised his athletic director at length, calling Oliva the best AD he's ever worked for. Orgeron also shed light on some injured Tigers heading into Saturday's game in Florida. He said both Darius Geis and Darrell Williams will be limited in the number of snaps they receive due to nagging injuries. The same for returning defensive lineman Rashard Lawrence. Nose tackle Ed Alexander is expected to be a full go for the Gator game, which may be influenced by Tropical Storm Nate in the Gulf. The Arizona Diamondbacks clubbed their way past Colorado in the National League wildcard game last night at 11-8. The D-backs will face the Dodgers in the NL Division Series that starts tomorrow. Today, a little after 3 p.m., Houston opens their ALDS with Boston at Minute Maid Park. The defending league champion Cleveland Indians welcome the Yankees to town at 6:30. And the high school football week kicks off with a pair of games tonight. Southwood and Byrd at Lee Hedges at 7 in a District 1 5A tilt. The Jackets are 1-1 in league play, 3-2 overall, while the Cowboys are winless. And tonight at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium at Northwood, Green Oaks welcomes 1A powerhouse Haynesville to town. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Name it and claim it. Tell me what band that is on the bumper music.
Oh, no clue.
One of Matt's favorites.
Foo Fighters.
No. It's Motorhead, isn't it?
Green
It is
Day.
Motorhead.
It's Motorhead.
Green Day.
1017 FM 710 Keel. Robert J.
Nickelback.
Robert J.
Yeah.
Pickleback. Did you say Pickleback?
Pickleback.
Well,
No, it's
I had a joke for that, but I'm not going to say it. I don't feel like dumping myself.
Pickleback.
Ollie Tyler's joining us, by the way, at 7:10.
Do we have rules for that? Do we have rules
Yeah,
for
we
that?
do.
Tell me what they are.
Yeah, we're going to talk budget only.
Tell me what else is up.
There's lots going on. There's a corruption scandal.
Now, wait a second. Is that true?
Of course it's true. I spoke with the attorney yesterday who is representing Scott Pernice.
Okay, wait a second.
And-
Pardon me. Okay, let's assume for the moment.
And we've agreed, just so when you listen at 7:10, we've agreed the mayor cannot comment on that because it's a pending investigation.
Okay.
And so she said, as long as we don't talk about that,
So one of the
I'm good to
TV
go.
stations, Channel
3, KTBS, did a great report. I mean, they did a lot of work.
Tell me what's in this report that the mayor can't talk about.
That there's a federal investigation going on with regard to possible shakedowns and kickbacks in City Hall dating back to the Glover administration. Lynn
Wait a second.
Braggs.
Pardon me. A federal
FBI, yeah.
A federal investigation. This is from the KTBS
Yes.
report.
The report alleges that Lynn Braggs and David Aubrey,
Okay, pardon me. Who are these guys?
they both worked in the administrations or the campaigns of Cedric Glover and Ollie Tyler. I'm not sure as what positions, but they apparently acted as go-betweens for companies who wanted city contracts and the city in a pay-to-play scheme.
Can you explain to me what that is? I mean, how?
Let's say you owned a company that put in water meters. That's what you did. And you wanted to install all new water meters in the city of Shreveport. And you're like, I wonder how I could get the city to do this. I mean, it would save them money. They'd be automatic. They'd have to, no meter readers wouldn't be needed anymore.
How do I get this?
How do I get this gig?
Contract?
Well, you would call somebody who had close ties to the administration. In this case, it's alleged that Lynn Braggs had something to do with this and may have influenced those at City Hall to award a contract to your company.
So when you say influence, what's the accusation?
I
mean,
don't know. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to get in trouble here. I don't know. We're going to have to wait. I spoke with the attorney who yesterday told me he's going to send me all the depositions and
Which
all
attorney is this?
Jerry Harper is his name, and he represents the Scott Pernice, in the suit against the city.
So how does this involve? How does any of this involve anyone? How does this involve Miss Ollie?
Apparently, Mr. Braggs has been has some influence with her. That's what they're alleging. I don't know that this is true. This may be absolutely BS. And that he has helped companies get contracts. Where typically, if you want water meter, if you want to get a deal with the city, they put out a bid, or an RFP, request for proposals. They do bids, and you award a contract to the low bidder.
Okay, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. I'm just trying to understand. But you said originally, or the report, the KTBS report said it goes back to the Glover administration, so it's an overlapping, Matt? What?
The Lynn Braggs fella. He was a campaign coordinate for Mayor Tyler, and he also worked for Cedric's campaign. And this other fella worked on one of the boards. I don't have it in front of me. I was looking for it.
So what is
I have reached out to Lynn Braggs as well, and he is not commenting.
So what is it specifically they are investigating, or has anyone said?
Kickbacks and shakedowns at City Hall. That's the accusation.
Do you remember in Shawshank Redemption where the warden would take cash for jobs? Like, hey, you want the city contract?
He got a pile of money in his pie.
We'll back out, but you just have to, have your wife bake me a pie. And there was a big envelope full of cash. It's one of those types of situations,
because
supposedly allegedly.
There are W-2s where Lynn Braggs was paid money by your company. Let's say you're the company. He has a W-2 showing he earned money from that company.
But
how did he earn that money?
How is that illegal if he just knows somebody and makes a suggestion?
Well, there's some ways you have to do business when you're government. You have to do bids. You have to follow procedures.
But I guess we'll talk about this more. This is very complicated.
When do I get to read my text?
You can read your text sometime. She's very proud of this. Someone pats her on the back.
Someone agrees with me? Wow!
For her sports knowledge. 629, I know. 629, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. By the way, if folks go to KEELnews.com, is sort of a summary of the KTBS report there?
Yes.
Okay. Traffic update. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
Everything's still running nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Linwood Avenue between Mount Zion Road and West Burke-Coons Industrial Loop due to heavy construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warm today, sun mixing with clouds, high 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunshine, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Could a shakeup be on the way at Willis-Knighton? Greg Adams takes a closer look.
Willis-Knighton's Health System Medical Executive Committee has issued a no-confidence statement directed at Willis-Knighton CEO James Elrod. The USA Today Network reports they have a copy of the letter, which reads, quote, "Our preference would be that Mr. Elrod voluntarily step down from his position and retire with dignity and respect due him for his great service to both Willis-Knighton and the Shreveport-Bossier community. Should he prove incapable of graciously stepping aside, you, as the board, must initiate a transition to new leadership," end quote. The letter cited multiple reasons for the no-confidence move, including the doctor's assessment that Elrod had difficulties with disagreements and was unable to respond to the changes in the healthcare market. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Greg Adams.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater will be talking about criminal justice reform today. He set a news conference for 10:30. Now, under the Justice Reinvestment Act, the state will release hundreds of prison inmates over the coming months. The first wave of newly freed inmates set to happen November 1st, when more than 1,400 inmates are set to walk out of jails across the state. About 200 of them are in Caddo, Bossier, and Webster parishes. Corruption at City Hall. Matt Parker with that.
According to a report from KTBS, the city of Shreveport is being investigated by the FBI on possible corruption charges. The report says that the federal authorities are looking into the possibility of shakedowns and kickbacks at City Hall dating back to the Glover administration. Lynn Braggs and David Aubrey are two members being spotlighted in the probe. It's alleged that Braggs and Aubrey, who have worked in both administrations, acted as a go-between for companies seeking city contracts and the city in a pay-to-play scheme. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Good news could be on the way for Shreveport City workers, including police officers and firefighters. Sergeant Michael Carter tells KEEL News this is needed to help keep officers on the force.
We have a new generation coming about now, and they put dollars to risk, and they do real tight assessments on their personal risk compared to what they're paid. And this is a step in the positive direction.
City Council still has to approve the mayor's budget. Water officials in DeSoto Parish granted $2.3 million loan from the Department of Health to improve the water system. The parish will use the money to install a new treatment system that will let the parish with clean water with less chlorine and less chemicals. A man shot just after our city wrapped up National Night Out has died. 65-year-old Benny Livingston died after he was shot in the head. Police believe Livingston saw his stolen pickup truck near Milam and Hearn and called police. However, the call got disconnected. At this time, investigators think the person who was driving the stolen truck shot him when they realized they were being followed. Those seeking to know the motive of Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock have had little to chase than hints and shadows. Unlike many other mass killers, Paddock led such a private life that no one seemed to know him well. Meantime, gun talk show host Tom Gresham says it's a mistake right now to talk about guns and more restrictions.
Well, we've been doing a lot, and we are not the problem. You got either a crazy guy or a terrorist or maybe a domestic terrorist, and we are focusing on what? The hardware? Would we rather that he got a Ryder truck and had a higher body count like they did in East France?
Police have questioned Paddock's girlfriend extensively. She has not been charged. Michigan lawmakers have voted to prohibit local taxes on food, drinks, and gum. Right now, there's not anyone considering such a tax in the state, but the vote considered a preemptive strike against any municipality that might consider levying a tax on soda and other sugary and artificially sweetened items. Mostly sunny today with a high temp near 88, right now 72. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Okay, here's how we're going to do this. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty.
We're going to read it 40 times?
No. Here's what we're going to do. You and Erin, yesterday morning, we on the air called, there's like this 800, this toll-free number for Anheuser-Busch.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's an 800 number where supposedly you can call and tell them what you think about, like kneeling for the national anthem and all the
and
unity,
all their money they spend on the NFL,
joining arms. But basically, what you have to do to get to the beep so you can leave your message is listen to about a 75-second jingoistic.
We love America.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We're Anheuser-Busch, and the flag means a lot to us.
Drink our beer.
And it's sort of a commercial, and they're wrapping themselves in the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know how this happened, but then the beep went off, and you and Matt started yelling.
And we went off.
And you and Matt started yelling at each other.
I was very calm and collected.
Oh, that is so not true. We need to pull that bit back up.
And you and Matt started
Don't
yelling
start me up.
You and Matt started yelling at each other for about like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll go to break. When we come back,
Oh, I want to read my text.
we'll get to your text.
Oh,
agrees with me. Oh my God.
That yes, agrees with Erin.
Tells Matt to shut
And
up.
not only does it agree with Erin, it agrees with Erin in an area where she will take the most possible pride.
Oh, so this person calls me an idiot too.
You got it, kids. 639. That's coming up next. Hold on. 639, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Linwood Avenue between Mount Zion Road and Westbrook Coons Industrial Loop due to heavy construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warm today, sun mixing with clouds, high 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunshine, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Okay, it's 18 away from 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, so there was this Anheuser-Busch, this Busch beer, 800 line, and you call and you wait for the beep and you can tell them what you think about.
Yeah, it says, drink our patriotic beer.
And you can tell them what you think about all the NFL players kneeling or joining arms, basically. But to get to that, it took about 75 seconds of them wrapping themselves in the flag and telling you what a wonderful company they are and how they love America.
Well, we love the flag.
And you were hearing all this like in the background, and this woman's voice is telling you we love America and we're an American company, and basically you were waiting for the beep.
Yeah.
And so then the beep went off.
And we went off.
And this was like 8:40 yesterday. And hold on. And so the beep goes off, and so then these two start yelling at each other, and, I mean, screaming at each other. And they went on for about 75 seconds, and I'm sitting here, because I can't jump in, because it would have been like jumping into a buzzsaw in quicksand. and they yell at each other, and I don't really know what it was about. And then they stop, and I'm thinking, wow, that was all recorded by the Anheuser-Busch people.
Best voicemail ever.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to take like the 2 minutes to listen.
Oh.
So first of all, what was it you two were yelling at each other about? Oh, I remember.
I started out angry about them apologizing. Then Erin said something stupid, and I got angry at her.
What Matt said was, he says, what a bunch of wieners, basically, and I'm paraphrasing just a little bit about Anheuser-Busch. But he says, what a bunch of wieners apologizing for something they really had nothing to do with.
All they're trying to do is sell beer and help America.
But they're advertising on a platform where some of the people who make money in that business
right. So basically,
sit down for the American flag and the national anthem.
Basically, what they're doing is they're warding off a potential sponsor, i.e. person by person.
You are complicit, Anheuser-Busch. You are complicit.
Boycott of their product is what they're trying to avoid.
You bet.
And they kind of want it both ways. We're going to still be on the
This
NFL.
Bud's not for me.
We're still going to be on the NFL
You don't
games,
deserve Budweiser.
But we really don't like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a great text on the Shreveport Security Systems text line.
318-392-1884.
Why does Parker even have a mic? Shut up. McCarty's right, period. The woman has forgotten more about football than your whole crew ever knew, man.
He's calling you old?
And is that
I
a
don't care about
relative?
that.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother. That is so true. I have forgotten more about sports than this little weasel will ever know.
Sadly, it was between 6:30 and 7 this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, just as you were alive while they're wearing leather helmets.
Yeah, I was.
So you made the point yesterday that in your mind, Erin and people of her ilk are
Don't call me ilk.
Are destroying sports as it exists today. Explain to me what you meant.
Well, here's the thing. The NFL, Major League Baseball, hell, even NASCAR are trying to fix problems that don't exist. Because,
like what?
Well, they're trying to change everything about the game. Well, we got to be faster paced. We got to do this. Well, people are tuning out because they're going by ratings, which don't matter in today's day and age. And here's why. Unless you watch a sports game on whatever local channel you have, CBS, NBC, Fox, whatever, unless you watch it on those channels, if you watch it any other way, it doesn't count towards the ratings. So with the NFL and all these different sports, things with the Red Zone Network and streaming games on Twitter and Facebook and all these different places, if you watch them there, it doesn't matter in the ratings. So, of course, the ratings are going to drop because your view doesn't count.
He's so wrong about that. They know everything I watch on my DVR. Xfinity and Comcast knows everything I watch.
But it doesn't.
And maybe it doesn't count for Nielsen,
but
it counts for advertising dollars.
Okay, you're right.
Trust me.
But at the end of the day, those huge New York and Los Angeles ad agencies that represent huge companies like Anheuser-Busch, and you tell me this all the time. Look, there is no more. Who does ours? Nielsen? There is no more outdated, ancient, anachronistic methodology than is used in television and, I'm speaking with some degree of knowledge here, radio ratings.
No, television, you're wrong about that. They know exactly where my box goes, every minute where it goes. I'm on the phone with him last night.
Stop a second.
He goes, I see what you're watching on your DVR right now.
Hold on. Let's assume for the moment you're right, okay? And there's no reason to doubt what you're telling me. Explain to me how what she just said is incorrect.
Well, again, yes, they can track you just like they can track what you visit on the internet. They can track everything you do if they really put in enough effort. Doesn't mean those count as official ratings, which is what they try to use to sell to advertisers and they use for market research.
You are wrong. Anheuser-Busch doesn't depend on those Nielsen ratings for their buys anymore. They look at all the other data. They have access to all the data about what my DVR tracks. Google it.
Hey,
they follow everything.
Aaron, we're having two
watching.
separate conversations here as well, because I'm talking about Major League Baseball changing the game because they feel people are tuning out because they're idiots and don't realize, people don't watch on regular television anymore. If you have the Major League Baseball network, if you have the NFL, if you have blah, 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 none of that counts in the ratings, people like you are ruining it because you watch the highlights.
They know who watches Major League Baseball on the Major League Baseball Network.
You're right,
Trust me.
But your length of viewership
you bet.
is so
because
radically
you're fast forwarding
decreased.
through everything.
Absolutely.
So when all you watch, Look at it.
I watch the highlights of NFL games.
Look at it this.
That's it.
Look at it this way. That's my point exactly.
You bet.
Instead of watching,
they know that's how I do it.
Instead of watching a 3-hour game, you watch a 3-hour game in 10 minutes.
You bet.
So when I go to an advertiser, if I'm an ad agency, I can't sell 3 hours of viewership. I can only sell 10 minutes.
You bet. Absolutely.
That makes it all the harder and makes the product, i.e. the NFL or any other professional sport.
So they're doing it different ways now.
But
when the game is on, they split the screen. They show part of the game over here. They show their commercials over here.
Follow me on this.
So if it's a play I want to watch, guess what? I'm having to watch your ad too.
Follow me on this, though, because we got to go. What I'm saying is ad agencies and advertisers who are used to buying 3 hours and the NFL, which is used to pricing things for 3 hours at a time, suddenly has to figure out a way to make all that money in 10-minute increments.
Well, yeah.
649, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty. Hang on, let's go right to weather. Hit the sounder. Hit the sounder. We got this. Hit the sounder.
Better hurry.
Hit the sounder.
Too late.
No, it's too late. No, we're all right.
Sunshine today with the high temp about 88 degrees. Right now it's 70.
Phew, very hot in here, and the AC is on. 6:52, sports time. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron went 12 rounds with Tiger fans during his radio show last night. Several calls were critical of his brief tenure as head coach and or his boss, athletic director Joe Oliva. One caller said Orgeron didn't earn the job, which earned a snappy retort by Orgeron, quote, "I earned the job whether you like it or not." One person said the head coach was an alpha male and Oliva was more feminine, a beta. Orgeron praised his athletic director at length, calling Oliva the best AD he's ever worked for. Orgeron also shed light on some injured Tigers heading into Saturday's game in Florida. He said both Darius Geis and Darrell Williams will be limited in the number of snaps they receive due to nagging injuries. The same for returning defensive lineman Rashard Lawrence. Nose tackle Ed Alexander is expected to be a full go for the Gator game, which may be influenced by Tropical Storm Nate in the Gulf. The Arizona Diamondbacks clubbed their way past Colorado in the National League wildcard game last night at 11-8. The D-backs will face the Dodgers in the NL Division Series that starts tomorrow. Today, a little after 3 p.m., Houston opens their ALDS with Boston at Minute Maid Park. The defending league champion Cleveland Indians welcome the Yankees to town at 6:30. And the high school football week kicks off with a pair of games tonight. Southwood and Byrd at Lee Hedges at 7 in a District 1 5A tilt. The Jackets are 1-1 in league play, 3-2 overall, while the Cowboys are winless. And tonight at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium at Northwood, Green Oaks welcomes 1A powerhouse Haynesville to town. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
6:55, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app's a free download, presented by Office Furniture Source.
Hey, Office Furniture Source, thank you.
What you got?
Mayor Ollie Tyler joining us at 7:10. We're going to talk about the budget, pay raises. Where's she getting the money for the pay raises? I guess that's the big question.
Let's see, the 2% for both the police department and fire guys.
That's required by law.
Was and that's sort of a cost of living increase that is annual.
Longevity pay. Yeah.
Okay. Then there's a 3% increase in pay that she wants for both. That will be, it's a 3% increase to their base pay. So we need to, yes.
No, he wants you to wrap.
Oh, he wants me to wrap it up because we got time. I thought he had something to
when
say.
he throws that finger up, you never know.
I thought he'd act like his
Yeah,
finger
you
was...
can. You just look at what finger it is.
Get your fork out of a light socket.
Oh, boy.
So she wants a 3% base pay increase for police and fire, and we can ask about the salary increase she wants for city employees who are currently making under $75,000 a year. 6:56, here's Rush on KEEL.
Professor Miroslav Georgievic is arguably the world's leading genital reconstructive surgeon. He has a clinic in Belgrade, Serbia, and also does surgery at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. He's busy. People the world over come to this guy to get work done on their equipment, their package. Now, the professor says that a new trend's emerging. Transgender people, no longer happy with their new lives, want their surgeries reversed. They want to go back to being who they were before their transgender surgery. This process has a name. It's called detransitioning. Now, the professor says that those who want to detransition suffer from crippling levels of depression after they've transitioned, some report being near suicidal. But the medical community is not listening. There isn't a lot of research because trans people are politically correct. Detrans people are not. But the professor says that all the reversals he's performed are on transgender women over 30 who want their original male equipment back. Having a re-addictomy, that's not easy. It takes several operations and over a year to reattach the equipment, and it's expensive, around 20 grand. But who cares about the cost, especially when you're missing such a big or small part of yourself, as the case may be. So now we have men, women, transgender, and detransgendered, and LGBTQ, DT, WTF. Sex is getting more complicated by the day. What happened to just get in, get it, and get out?
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. I've been doing this for 20 years, but success doesn't happen in a vacuum. Thank you for helping me move this thing along. You helped me get this thing going in the early days by telling 20 of your closest friends about Tito's. They told 20 more, and it kept growing from there. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support. Thank you very much. Go to Tito'sVodka.com and pick up some Tito's gear. All proceeds benefit our charity partners. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Good morning, 6:59, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic. Wait, traffic? Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warm today, sun mixing with clouds, high 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunshine, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 7:03, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Miss Erin down yonder has local news up next.
Talking criminal justice reform today. The sheriff wants you to know how he feels. Corruption scandal at Shreveport City Hall. We'll be talking about that more in the news coming up. And the worst kept secret in town. What is it?
Is the mayor at 7:10. In other words, in less than 10 to 15 minutes. The mayor is going to talk about the budget.
Yes, she cannot talk about the investigation because it's pending and it's ongoing litigation.
Budget, where is the money coming from for the raises, etc., and other details. Fletcher and sports, traffic, and weather, it's all coming up this hour right here on Keel.
The Keel Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater will talk criminal justice reform today. He set a news conference for 10:30. Now, under the Justice Reinvestment Act, the state will be releasing hundreds of prison inmates over the coming months. The first wave of newly freed inmates is set to happen November 1st, when more than 1,400 inmates are set to walk out of jails across the state. About 200 of those are in the Caddo, Bossier, Webster Parish area. Corruption at City Hall. Well, according to a report from KTBS, the city of Shreveport is being investigated by the FBI on possible corruption charges. The report says that federal authorities are looking into the possibility of shakedowns and kickbacks at City Hall dating back to the Glover administration. The current administration says they have no comment on this investigation at this time. The worst kept secret in town. Greg Adams has that.
It's official. Walk-Ons is now the title sponsor for the Independence Bowl. The announcement was made yesterday afternoon at the Walk-Ons location in Shreveport just after 3 p.m. KWKH's Tim Fletcher reports the deal is a 3-year guaranteed deal, which will last for the remainder of the Indy Bowl's contract with ESPN. The Independence Bowl has been operating without a sponsor since Camping World pulled out earlier this year. The 2017 version of the Independence Bowl is scheduled for December 27th, and tickets are on sale now. For 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Greg Adams.
Willis Knighton's Medical Executive Committee demanding that CEO Jim Elrod resign gracefully or be fired. The committee, which is made up of high-ranking medical officials and doctors, wrote a letter that claims Elrod can't keep up with the ever-changing world of healthcare and is a huge liability to the medical system moving forward. Last week, Willis Knighton announced they would have to terminate over 200 employees due to underfunded costs associated with Medicaid expansion. A man shot just after our city wrapped up National Night Out has died. 65-year-old Benny Livingston died after being shot in the head. Police believe Livingston saw his stolen pickup truck at the intersection of Milam near Hearn and called police. However, that call got disconnected. At this time, investigators think the person who was driving the stolen truck shot Livingston when they realized they were being followed. Fresh water's on the way for DeSoto Parish. Matt Parker with that.
Water officials in DeSoto Parish were granted a $2.3 million loan from the Louisiana Department of Health to improve their water system. The parish will use the funds to install a new treatment system that will allow the parish to clean water with less chlorine and other chemicals. The new cleaning process will decrease the water's odor and make it taste better. Whatever money the parish doesn't spend will be sent back to LDH. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
President Donald Trump offering prayers and condolences to the victims of the Las Vegas massacre. He said America is truly a nation in mourning. Now, this shooting has a lot of folks talking about common sense gun laws. Gun Talk host Tom Gresham says this is the wrong approach. He says you need to examine the numbers.
The murder rate has dropped by half. The accidental gunshot death rate is at the lowest point ever in the history of the United States that's been kept, 100 years. The number of children accidentally killed with guns is at the lowest point in 100 years. Gun owners are already doing tons of stuff, but we don't get credit for it.
The Sunday night rampage killed at least 58 people and left 527 wounded, some from gunfire and some from a chaotic escape. Bluetooth, CarPlay, cruise control, navigation, crash. A new study suggests all the digital doodads you have in your cars these days make it much more likely that you'll be involved in an accident. Mostly sunny today, 88 for the high. Right now, it's 72. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Good morning. It's 12 past 7 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Shreveport Mayor Ollie Tyler is here for a little bit. Good morning, Miss Ollie. How are you today?
Good morning, Robert. How are you?
Excellent, thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, we've agreed to talk about the budget today, and I want to ask you, the good news is it looks like city workers, police, and firefighters are going to get pay raises, correct?
Well, yes, if the city council passes on the budget, they will. We know that they are the most valuable resources that we have, you know. So we are trying to make sure that we can take care of our employees.
3% base pay raise for police and firemen. How much of a raise for city employees under $75,000 per annum, by the way? How much is that raise going to be?
Well, let me first say, Robert, it's a total of 5% for police and fire, and not 3%. Of course, 3% goes on the base, and they'll get the additional 2%. So let me just say that you know, we've been trying, of course, to make sure that we can take care of our employees. So ask that last question again, Robert.
What is the rate of increase proposed for city employees under 75K?
5%.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know, where's the money coming from? What do you trim? You have to trim. You don't have bucket loads of cash rolling in down there.
Absolutely not, Erin, and thank you for asking that question. And let me say also that I'm suffering with allergies. The fall has come in, and so if I sound like a frog this morning, just know that I am having that struggle today. Let me tell you, we trimmed some more. I think you know that my first year in office, we trimmed $4.3 million. But, of course, we had, you know, increases in health care, insurance, and pension benefits. And so I told the staff, and I directed the staff to look into the budgets again. We had a year-long hiring freeze for non-critical positions. And, of course, that did not include fire and police. And we looked at everything that we could. But I think one of the biggest things that we were able to see this year that we did not see last year. And, you know, we do the budgets the year before. Mm-hmm. And we, you know, our economy has been really, really stagnant. And so in 2016, we saw a decrease in sale revenues and all of that. But in the last few months, we see an uptick, really, in our sales revenue.
Do you have some specific areas where you can address cuts and you can tell us, hey, I found this was in this department and yes, I found a way to save it?
Okay, let me tell you, for this year, over the last each month for the last year, this year, we've been able to bring in $300,000 each month that we had not been able to do in the 2016 year because the revenues weren't there. With the year-long hiring freeze for non-critical positions,
okay,
we were able to save several $100,000 there. For the city health insurance contributions, of course, we did have you know, an increase in this year, but in 2018, and of course this is the budget for 2018. Because of some restructuring within the department, we were able to provide and come up with a decrease of $580,000 more over last year. Also, EMS monies came in several $1 million more than it had in previous years. And, of course, that was some legislation that was passed at the state level. And instead of collecting, you know, 7 to 9 million. We're going to collect a lot more than that, probably 2 million more. So those were monies that were saved. We were able to take a look into the budget also to see exactly what rolled off in terms of our debt. And we were able to do that, and that was a cost savings for us. We rolled off debt this year because some of our notes, you know, ended
expired,
for 2017,
yeah.
And so we have an additional $700,000 in payments that we didn't have last year. And so all of those things coupled together, we were able to come up with enough to be able to take care of our valuable employees.
Miss Ollie, you had mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, you said, basically, now all we got to do is get it through the city council. How much work, how much cajoling, how do you think that's going to go? Do you think the city council is right now saying, yep, let's run with this. This is a great idea?
Well, I haven't heard any opposition, and, I talk with some of them almost daily. I've been very, inclusive and trying to make sure that they understand what it is that we're trying to do. We've looked at of course, this raise will come with no decrease in services. In fact, we're trying to ramp up services, so the staff know that we're going to have to really do more with less. We've been able to collapse some of the positions, and that's why our employees have worked so hard. We did not hire some of those positions in every department. So I have not heard any opposition yet from council members. We still have to work through everything. December, probably before December 15th, we'll have a budget. And so we know that our employees haven't received a raise, actually a substantial raise in more than a decade. And it's time that we take a look at our valuable resource, and that is the people who do the servicing for our citizens every single day. I think that city council members will look very carefully at the budget that we've submitted.
Will any city residents feel any impact from the cuts? Are there some? I know we're moving into this new recycling pickup, but will there be anything else that will impact residents?
No, ma'am. And when I sent out the press release, I think you all looked at what we sent, and thank you for doing that. There will be no cuts. We made sure that we're bringing in enough extra revenue to make sure that services continue and that we can provide even better services. Let me tell you, when I put on my CEO hat that I had to do for many years in education, we look continuously every year to see where we can trim and be better stewards of the taxpayers' money. This year, we also doing for police and fire. We're going to give them back the funding, of course, that they lost on uniforms. That was cut in half, I think, in 2014. I went back and got all of the information, and I've been sitting and working very diligently with our staff, my CAO and assistant CAO, and we were able to find these funds because we looked at every area where we could trim. We looked at every area where we could reduce debt. We looked at every areas where we had an increase in revenues that were recurring, and we were able to do this without cutting any services and without reducing anything that will affect our citizens.
Next step, hearings before the council. Thank you, Mayor, for joining us. We appreciate it.
I thank you all so much for allowing me to join you this morning.
20 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Traffic update. How's about right now? Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
23 past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron went 12 rounds with Tiger fans during his radio show last night. Several calls were critical of his brief tenure as head coach and or his boss, athletic director Joe Oliva. One caller said Orgeron didn't earn the job, which earned a snappy retort by Orgeron, quote, "I earned the job whether you like it or not." One person said the head coach was an alpha male and Oliva was more feminine, a beta. Orgeron praised his athletic director at length, calling Oliva the best AD he's ever worked for. Orgeron also shed light on some injured Tigers heading into Saturday's game in Florida. He said both Darius Geis and Darrell Williams will be limited in the number of snaps they receive due to nagging injuries. The same for returning defensive lineman Rashard Lawrence. Nose tackle Ed Alexander is expected to be a full go for the Gator game, which may be influenced by Tropical Storm Nate in the Gulf. The Arizona Diamondbacks clubbed their way past Colorado in the National League wildcard game last night at 11-8. The D-backs will face the Dodgers in the NL Division Series that starts tomorrow. Today, a little after 3 p.m., Houston opens their ALDS with Boston at Minute Maid Park. The defending league champion Cleveland Indians welcome the Yankees to town at 6:30. And the high school football week kicks off with a pair of games tonight. Southwood and Byrd at Lee Hedges at 7 in a District 1 5A tilt. The Jackets are 1-1 in league play, 3-2 overall, while the Cowboys are winless. And tonight at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium at Northwood, Green Oaks welcomes 1A powerhouse Haynesville to town. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Twenty-six after 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Okay, so we just talked to the mayor about the budget. And one of the, there were things that are in the news, and we're going to take a couple of seconds, maybe not the whole segment to talk about this, but I do want to take the 40 segment, which is a longer segment to discuss what's on the Channel 3 website.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a link and a lot of info at keelnews.com.
Yes.
So what
I want to commend Channel 3. They did an incredible job in researching, and Gary Hines, Sean Gables, apparently been working on this one for a long time.
What the mayor could not or would not speak to us this morning about is what? Broad view, big picture.
Apparently there's an FBI investigation into possible influence peddling at City Hall going back to the Glover administration and possibly including the Tyler administration.
Now, how did all this come to light? Was this part of
It's all part of the Scott Pernice lawsuit involving a water billing scandal. And in that lawsuit, the mayor and Brian Crawford, the CAO, were deposed.
This is where Pernice is suing?
He's suing the city because he claims he brought to light some water billing errors, and he was wanting to be paid for bringing those errors forward. There's lots more layers to that, but that's as simple as I can get it for you. And in the depositions,
right.
Lynn Braggs, who was involved with the Cedric Glover campaign and also with the Ollie Tyler campaign, is accused of using his influence at City Hall to get contracts for businesses that he has deals with. Retainer agreements, I guess, is the best way to put it.
I think that's how they laid it out in the KTBS report. But
give me a sentence or two that will help us out.
Hold on. Where is the sentence I was looking for? Like I said, this is like 7 pages worth of stuff, so there's a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys and Greg were going over the depositions, yet the deposition transcript yesterday.
I must mention this was part of the Ollie Tyler deposition. Ollie Tyler said in her deposition she has had no political association with Braggs since she took office. But the attorney for Pernice says Braggs' influence with somebody has, quote, been over the top.
Yeah, apparently Braggs has signed some of the affidavit or signed some paperwork that said, hey, you know, no one was paid for this, but according to a deposition with the Triton Water Technologies, who installed the new water meters for the city a couple of years back, a Triton representative said, hey, we never employed anyone that go out and get this contract, which is different than what Bragg said in his deposition. So there's a lot of back and forth and
a lot of contradictory testimony. 29 past 7 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin has local news in a moment or two. Right now, Ruben looks ready. Here's traffic on KEEL.
The intersection of Linwood Avenue and Hollywood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Information. KEEL News now.
Could a shakeup be on the way at Willis-Knighton? Greg Adams takes a closer look.
Willis-Knighton's Health System Medical Executive Committee has issued a no-confidence statement directed at Willis-Knighton CEO James Elrod. The USA Today Network reports they have a copy of the letter which reads, quote, our preference would be that Mr. Elrod voluntarily step down from his position and retire with dignity and respect due him for his great service to both Willis-Knighton and the Shreveport-Bossier community. Should he prove incapable of graciously stepping aside, you, as the board, must initiate a transition to new leadership, end quote. The letter cited multiple reasons for the no-confidence move, including the doctor's assessment that Elrod had difficulties with disagreements and was unable to respond to the changes in the healthcare market. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Greg Adams.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater will be talking about criminal justice reform today. He set a news conference for 10:30. Now, under the Justice Reinvestment Act, the state will release hundreds of prison inmates over the coming months. The first wave of newly freed inmates set to happen November 1st, when more than 1,400 inmates are set to walk out of jails across the state. About 200 of them are in Caddo, Bossier, and Webster parishes. Corruption at City Hall. Matt Parker with that.
According to a report from KTBS, the city of Shreveport is being investigated by the FBI on possible corruption charges. The report says that the federal authorities are looking into the possibility of shakedowns and kickbacks at City Hall dating back to the Glover administration. Lynn Braggs and David Aubrey are two members being spotlighted in the probe. It's alleged that Braggs and Aubrey, who have worked in both administrations, acted as a go-between for companies seeking city contracts and the city in a pay-to-play scheme. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Good news could be on the way for Shreveport City workers, including police officers and firefighters. Sergeant Michael Carter tells Keel News this is needed to help keep officers on the force.
We have a new generation coming about now, and they put dollars to risk, and they do real tight assessments on their personal risk compared to what they're paid. And this is a step in the positive direction.
City Council still has to approve the mayor's budget. Water officials in DeSoto Parish granted $2.3 million loan from the Department of Health to improve the water system. The parish will use the money to install a new treatment system that will let the parish with clean water with less chlorine and less chemicals. A man shot just after our city wrapped up National Night Out has died. 65-year-old Benny Livingston died after he was shot in the head. Police believe Livingston saw his stolen pickup truck near Milam and Hearn and called police. However, the call got disconnected. At this time, investigators think the person who was driving the stolen truck shot him when they realized they were being followed. Those seeking to know the motive of Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock have had little to chase than hints and shadows. Unlike many other mass killers, Paddock led such a private life that no one seemed to know him well. Meantime, gun talk show host Tom Gresham says it's a mistake right now to talk about guns and more restrictions.
Well, we've been doing a lot, and we are not the problem. You got either a crazy guy or a terrorist or maybe a domestic terrorist, and we are focusing on what? The hardware? Would we rather that he got a Ryder truck and had a higher body count like they did in East France?
Police have questioned Paddock's girlfriend extensively. She has not been charged. Michigan lawmakers have voted to prohibit local taxes on food, drinks, and gum. Right now, there's not anyone considering such a tax in the state, but the vote considered a preemptive strike against any municipality that might consider levying a tax on soda and other sugary and artificially sweetened items. Mostly sunny today with a high temp near 88, right now 72. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
It is 736, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. So evidently in Baton Rouge yesterday, blah, blah. Huge meeting with like Joe Oliva, the LSU AD, and Coach O. I mean, what do you know about this? Have you read anything about this? I saw, we've cleared the air. What does that mean, we've cleared the air?
Well, they got together and had a kumbaya. And, you know, we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
God, I hope not,
and
don't
Coach,
you?
Coach O defended himself, and he defended Joe Oliva, saying that
now,
we have a long way to go. But
if Orgeron is Oliva's guy, what kind of meeting would they possibly need to have? Why would Oliva want a meeting with Orgeron if, in fact, Orgeron is Oliva's guy, as we know that he is? I mean, the whole hiring process of Coach O, it was like when they said to Tom Herman, who's now at University of Texas, when Herman said, I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to see who wants to give me the most money, and the best situation before I make a decision, LSU, because
Yeah.
the Texas offer wasn't completely on the table yet. And Oliva said, well, you don't want to come to LSU. Screw you. We're going to hire Coach O. So Orgeron is the Oliva guy.
Yeah, you bet.
What is all of a sudden, is it possible because of the heat of the last 2 or 3 weeks? Could it be that Coach O is suddenly not the Oliva guy? I mean, it's look, Joe Oliva
Likes his job.
Yeah, it's a really good one, and it pays a lot. So, would you be surprised? I don't know for sure. Would you be surprised that Oliva at some point might start throwing people under the bus, Coach O included, to keep his gig?
Of course he will. There's no doubt. He met with Coach O. He met with his coordinators.
And threatened him?
They're describing the meeting as a positive one. You got to turn your mic on, doofus.
Oh, you're one to talk. If I had to guess, what I read into it is basically they all sat down in the room and was like, all right, we all want to keep our jobs here. What are we doing? Rebuilding years happen. What's our 2-year plan? Because if we don't turn this ship around pretty soon, we're all going to be looking for a job. That's what I sort of got out
They're
of it.
describing it as a gut check meeting.
I beg your pardon?
A gut check meeting.
That's football talk for
Yeah.
We could be screwed if we don't start to win. 739, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Attention, Independence Bowl, folks. Nice job. We'll talk about that in a couple of seconds. Traffic update now. Here comes Ruben.
3-car accident has the left lane blocked on I-20 westbound near Spring Street. And we're still keeping an eye on a major accident on East Terry Bradshaw Passway near East Flournoy Lucas Road. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 7:43. Give me a minute to collect myself. I'm not used to jogging in the hall. 743, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin.
We're joined by retired Judge Robert Burgess in studio. Good morning from
Good
DeSoto
morning.
Parish. We love having you. This is your first in this new studio here, isn't it?
I think it's my first in any Keel studio.
Really?
Yes.
We've done over the phone then.
Well, we did do a lot over the phone. We're so limited when I was on the bench. Now I get to talk. And
well, there are so
they're
many
letting
people.
him loose. I'm just saying, get your finger on the dump button because you never know what he'll say. I'm just
There
telling
are
you.
so many folks who have, over the years, given Erin legal advice in in numerous areas. She can get confused about what was on the radio and off.
Yeah.
It's called the Justice Reinvestment Program, and it's basically letting a lot of guys loose early. Am I oversimplifying? And is it a good or bad idea, or maybe a little of both?
It's a little of both. One of the things that happened was mandatory minimum sentences, and it took the discretion out of the judge that might know an offender better than the legislators that passed the law, and made us do things that we didn't want to do. And I think that now they're reaping the unintended consequences of being tough on crime, and that sometimes means not using common sense about it.
What are the unintended consequences?
Right.
What are those?
Well, it's the fact that you have a person that is a first offender decides that they're going to sell cocaine, and because they're in a dire consequence of financial struggle, can't make ends meet, and they decide to do a one-time thing and they get busted. And you have to have a minimum mandatory if they're prosecuted to the maximum, and that person has never done it before, has no criminal record, and they go to prison.
But there is no choice in
There's some of those, and that might not be the best example, but that's the one that comes to mind. And in my 25 years on the bench, I had very little to no sympathy for people who sold drugs, but sometimes you have to look beyond just the fact that they sell drugs. There are reasons that need to be
took the human factor out, if you will.
Well, absolutely, and the legislators, I think they were well-meaning, but they didn't exactly implement it in a common sense way.
Let me ask you, this is supposed to be a reinvest program where the money you save by releasing inmates from jail, you're going to create programs to help them when they get out of jail. Are you suspect of that?
Not at all. I think that this is something that's long overdue, because this is one of the things that we didn't examine in the front end. There are so many, as you know, when the budget cuts come, one of the first things that take hits is mental health services, and that is a disaster in this state. Mental health is a lot of reasons that people are into the system. I mean, the old saying that I used to have, do you do drugs because you're nuts, or you're nuts because you do drugs? Well, you find out you can't separate the two. And yes, those programs, employment, mental health services, continued outpatient, things like AA and community. It takes a community to make this work.
The sheriff here, Steve Prater, are going to have a news conference on this today. There's a list we've got at keelnews.com. 1,400 inmates are going to be released on November 1st. Corrections Department sent this list out. 200 or so of them are in Caddo-Bossier. There's some concern from law enforcement that we're going to have more crime. This is going to result in more crime. Is that a concern from the judicial side of this equation?
I wouldn't say it's a concern in the fact that it's fear, but it is certainly something that the judiciary has taken into effect. I mean, this area is blessed with, particularly Caddo and DeSoto parishes also, but you got Justice Scott Creighton, who is probably one of the most eloquent and best speakers regarding common sense. He's a tough on crime guy. Came out of the prosecutor's office, and he has no sympathy for violation of crime, but he also has sense enough and is eloquent enough to know that there are better ways to punish people, or at least deal with the thing. You have James Stewart, who has seen it from all sides, prosecution, district court, court of appeals, and he has got the community looking at and helping him in decisions of making a on charging individuals. And I think that's a very, very good approach of bringing the community and listening to what the community expects of the judiciary and of the prosecution. And Steve Prater is he's been around as long or longer than I have, and he has his finger on the pulse of this, and he'll do what's necessary to make sure the people of this area are safe.
There are concerns, though, that yes, the state says they're going to reinvest, but will the money really trickle down? Will it trickle down to DeSoto, to Caddo, to Bossier? We want you to answer that one.
That's the tough one.
Yeah.
Because I know that, for example, and I don't know what others have done it, but Judge Beasley and I used to be a part of the 11th Judicial District, DeSoto and Sabine. Judge Beasley has a reentry court down there where he monitors the people that are going to be released into into the community down there and helps them with all these services. That's going to be part of the equation. The money, whether it trickles down from the state or not, each parish is going to have a reality check, and if they have these people, they're going to have to do it themselves. You can't rely on the state because, as we know, once that money's loosed up, there's always some hand out there to grab it.
We had DA Skylar Marvin, on last week, and he was, I think it's fair to say, a little critical of this plan. From the judicial people, from the judges I've talked to, from the lawyers I've talked to, they seem to think it ain't the worst thing in the world. But on the law enforcement side, they're a little more critical. Why is there that disconnect, do you think?
Lack of communication and maybe participation in the process. I don't know exactly how it all came down, but it depends upon who they were listening to at the time. Obviously,
I mean,
those things like this.
Both sides are boots on the ground.
Oh, absolutely, and they both have a proper perspective, but they just may not communicate with each other very well.
Want to ask you about the death penalty. I know we've got to wrap up. Can you hang around?
Oh, absolutely.
'Cause I know you have.
I'm a retired guy that practices a little law, so my time is your time.
I know you have some strong opinions about the death penalty. Can we go there?
I want to be this guy when I grow up.
Yes.
749, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update coming up right now. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Linwood Avenue between Mount Zion Road and West Coons Industrial Loop due to heavy construction. And a major accident on I-20 westbound near Spring Street has things backed up to Swan Lake Road right now. If you know something we don't, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warm today, sun mixing with clouds, high 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunshine, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning, 753. It's 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The KEEL app sounds awesome. It's a free download and presented by Office Furniture Source.
Retired Judge Robert Burgess in studio from DeSoto Parish, enjoying fishing and shopping and doing fun stuff, right?
Practicing a little law, but enjoying a more leisurely pace.
Erin
Certainly.
needs your number on the way out, by the way.
Yeah, you never know when I'll get arrested.
Oh, yeah, we do.
My head is about to explode when I think of this topic. I think of Nathaniel Code. I think of Sepulvedo in your parish. There are many on death row in Louisiana that have been there for decades. They're sitting there, and we're paying for them. There's 3 squares. We're even paying for air conditioning now or some such nonsense. Your thoughts on the death penalty and why, if we're going to use it, why don't we use it?
I guess you would have to ask the powers that be in Louisiana. As you know, I created quite a stir trying to implement the jury's verdict and the law in Chris Sepulvedo. And ultimately, the state of Louisiana, through their attorneys, agreed to a stay of executions in this state. And I contacted the federal judge that's actually overseeing the case, and there is absolutely no movement whatsoever towards lifting that stay. And the only thing I can tell you, I don't know if that goes to the District Attorney's Association or the AG's office, but right now it is in a permanent state of stasis and is not going to move.
Somebody somewhere doesn't want these to happen. Is it the legal system? Is it more political? And if it's political, is it political at what level? Explain to me where you think that that this wedge has been inserted into the gears of justice.
Well, from my personal experience, when I did what I did back when, the Catholic Church, who has a strong anti-death penalty stance, came out against it. Do I think that's part of it? I don't think it can be discounted.
Particularly, obviously, in South Louisiana.
In the state and in South Louisiana.
Do you think the death penalty is a deterrent for murder?
No, not at all.
So why do we do it?
Well, you know, it's not a deterrent because we don't implement it for 25 years till after the fact when a whole second generation has come up. Could it be a deterrent if it was more expeditious? I don't know. The statistics are on that. I'll leave that to the statisticians.
Do you see that changing anytime soon?
No, I absolutely do not. I think that this is going to be something that you will see in a few years, that it will probably be the exception rather than the rule, the death penalty in the states.
Robert Burgess, retired judge, lawyer now. I might need your digits. I got them, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Thank you for your time this morning. I hope you'll come back.
I will come back at any time. Like I said, my time is your time.
Thanks.
757, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Hannity.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So while many on the left are pointing fingers and spewing hate in the wake of the Vegas shooting, you know, I'd like to take a little time to highlight one of the many, many heroes who did emerge this terrifying, horrible night. Jonathan Smith, a 30-year-old copy machine repairman, well, he ushered more than 30 people to safety as the gunman was spraying bullets on thousands of innocent Americans attending the Route 91 Harvest Festival. Now, Smith was corralling concert goers behind cars to shield them from the attack when he noticed that a couple of young women were not fully hidden. Well, he stood up to move towards them, and guess what? He was shot in the neck. Now, thankfully, he survived with a fractured collarbone and a cracked rib and a bruised lung, but it speaks volumes of the goodness and greatness of the American people.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, I recently gave my home a facelift. I did it the best and simplest way possible. Brand new blinds from Blinds.com. Now, you always get free online design consultation. Every single order gets free shipping. And guess what? Their prices, they're unbeatable. Now, let's say you accidentally mismeasure. You pick the wrong color. They will remake your blinds for free. They make it so simple, so easy. And now through October 24th, get huge site-wide savings at Blinds.com. Promo code Hannity for an additional 5% off. Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. Rules, restrictions apply. Hey, when things sound too good to be true, they usually are. But when Tommy John says their T-shirts are the best ever, well, you can take that to the bank. Every pair is made from the lightest, most breathable fabrics, plus all Tommy John underwear. They're backed by the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. Use the promo code Hannity when you go to TommyJohn.com for 20% off your very first order. That's 20% off when you go to TommyJohn.com, promo code Hannity for your first order. TommyJohn.com.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we're still keeping a close eye on that major accident on I-20 eastbound near Spring and Market. It's got things backed up to Swan Lake Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Miss Erin and local news, she looks ready.
Yes, big skirmish could be going on at Willis-Knighton. The sheriff talking about criminal justice reform today. He's concerned. And we've also got news, tragic news from a shooting this week. The victim has died.
Okay, Independence Bowl, a big sponsor. Who could the best
Who
kept,
is it?
I don't know. They kept the secret so incredibly well. We will discuss a little more on the latest from Las Vegas. And is Joe Oliva about to throw Coach O under the bus? Gridiron expert Erin McCarty comments. Did you like the way I set that up?
I love it.
Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather all this hour, and it's right here on Keel.
$84.47.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Willis-Knighton's executive committee demanding that hospital CEO Jim Elrod resign gracefully or be fired by the Board of Trustees. The committee, which is made up of high-ranking medical officials and doctors, wrote a letter that claims Elrod can't keep up with the ever-changing world of healthcare and is a huge liability to the medical system. A shooting victim has died. Matt Parker has our update.
65-year-old Benny Livingston was shot in the head and killed just a few minutes after our community's National Night Out ended on Tuesday. Police believe that Livingston saw his stolen pickup truck at the intersection of Milam Street near Hearn Avenue and contacted police. However, that call got disconnected. At this time, investigators think that the person who was driving Livingston's stolen truck shot him when they realized they were being followed. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Corruption at City Hall. According to a report from KTBS, the city of Shreveport is being investigated by the FBI on possible corruption charges. The report says federal authorities are looking into the possibility of shakedowns and kickbacks dating back to the Glover administration. There is some good news from City Hall. The mayor proposing pay raises for employees. Police officers happy about the news.
We're in a position to where we can't turn down a single dime. We are tens of thousands of dollars below average pay, and everything is a positive. Everything that is given to us is appreciated very much.
Sergeant Michael Carter, president of the Police Officers Association. Visitation today in Lafayette for fallen officer Corporal Michael Middlebrook, who was killed during an exchange of gunfire at a convenience store. Police Chief Toby Aguilar says Middlebrook was born in Thibodaux and had a stellar 9-year career with Lafayette PD.
It's as if somehow he must have known, because he did it all, and he did it well. He was the spearhead who brought many people to justice in our city.
Water officials in DeSoto Parish granted a $2.3 million loan from the Department of Health to improve the water system. The parish will use the money to install a new treatment system that will allow the parish to clean water with less chlorine and other chemicals. The governor's administration boosting the size of loans available to small businesses damaged by last year's flooding and extending the deadline for applications. Tropical storm Nate along the Nicaragua coast is expected to keep heading north and be a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico this weekend. National Hurricane Specialist Robbie Berg says landfall along the Gulf Coast is likely on Sunday.
Exactly where that system will move inland along the northern Gulf Coast is highly uncertain at this point.
Authorities trying to piece together the final days before Stephen Paddock unleashed his arsenal of powerful firearms on country music fans in Vegas have at least one potential trove of information: his gambling habits. Gaming regulators say they're sorting through documents that can include suspicious transactions or currency reports. And a Massachusetts bakery's granola may be made with love, but federal officials say it shouldn't be listed as an ingredient on the package. Neshoba Brook Bakery in Concord was taken to task by the FDA for listing love as one of its ingredients. Mostly sunny today with a high temp about 88 degrees. Right now, 70. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning, it's 101.7. I'll tell you in a couple of seconds. Erin's going crazy down there. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Linwood Avenue between Mount Zion Road and West Burke-Coons Industrial Loop due to heavy construction. And a major accident on I-20 westbound near Spring Street has things backed up to Swan Lake Road right now. If you know something we don't, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike.
Good morning. It's 12 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Just a quick note. Erin just realized she had how many emails in your inbox?
I had 3,400.
And so this was like about 8 o'clock when Fox News started. When she started her news there at like 8:03, right before she turns the mic on, she says, I've deleted 300 emails.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down to 3,100. I said, how do you delete 300 emails in 2.5 minutes? And you said, alphabetically.
Yeah, I just scroll. And like if I have this junk mail that comes from, let's say, this woman named Rebecca, I just scroll and get rid of hundreds of Rebeccas.
Rebecca is our HR director.
Yeah,
just to give you an
Who
idea.
needs those emails?
Just to give you an insight what Erin considers to be junk email.
I'm down to 2,800 now.
The latest from Las Vegas, is that this Paddock guy had been, because a couple of folks said, how did he get all those guns? How did they? And the point I was going to make was that he had been in the hotel since the 28th, about 4 or 5 days before the shooting. He could have brought that in one package at a time, one suitcase at a time.
There's video of him coming in and out at least 6 times, so he was going in and out.
There's going to be so much we are going to learn from his traffic, i.e., in and out of the hotel patterns. But did you see what the sheriff said? The latest from the sheriff.
No.
Sheriff Joseph Lombardo in Las Vegas. At face value. Now, do you think this sounds... Do you think that this sheriff, before I tell you what he said, I want you to tell me after I tell you what his quote is, whether or not you think this is irresponsible or whether you think it's insightful.
Okay.
Sheriff Joseph Lombardo says, at face value, he had to have had some help at some point. What do you think he means by that?
Ugh.
In the logistics, in the mapping, in the planning, in the carrying the stuff. Have you seen the story from the day, was it the day before he checked into the hotel on the 27th, where they have the waiter's ticket from the restaurant at Mandalay Bay, where the waiter, 2 people were at the table?
No, I haven't seen that.
She, i.e. Mary Lou
Danley,
his companion, his longtime girlfriend. At that point, she's in the Philippines. She's already gone.
So there are 2 other people at the one other.
He and someone else.
Interesting.
Lombardo, the sheriff, says, at face value, he had to have had some help at some point, and we want to ensure that that's the answer. That's a little vague. The sheriff continues. Maybe this is where it gets really... what do you think about this? Is it insightful or irresponsible? Maybe he was superhuman and figured all this out on his own. But it's hard for me to believe... It's hard for me to believe that.
Me too.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And now it's coming out that I don't know where they deduce this or where the info is, or they can tell that he planned to get away.
He was going to escape. Yeah, that's why he put up the cameras.
He didn't plan to die in that room.
Somebody had to know about all these guns. Somebody had to know.
Look. He has purchased guns. You and I both know people who have 20, 30, 40 weapons.
You bet.
They are collectors, and they're no more dangerous.
But we don't report them. That's my problem with it all.
Because, wait a second. Report who for what? For making legal gun purchases.
Exactly.
Now you're taking the gun control guy's point of view. Why does anybody need 30 guns? Because the Second Amendment says, because legally you can't. Look, what in this trail of gun purchases, you never would have caught it. His entire criminal record was a parking ticket.
Yeah.
Okay? You have a greater criminal record. You have a more...
I do.
Your background as a lawbreaker and is more vast than this guy. I'm being totally serious.
That's true.
Your degree of instability, your paper trail, your digital footprint is way bigger as far as red flags for gun purchases than this guy's would ever be.
Yeah.
That being the case, given the fact that Republicans, just like on health care and immigration and everything else, seem to be jumping on the Democrat common sense gun control, common sense immigration reform, common sense health care reform bandwagon. If you've got one of those bump stocks, either get ready to get rid of it or sell it, or bury it in your backyard or in your safe, because they're going to be
illegal.
They're going to be illegal pretty damn fast. I think this is the one. I think there's a lot of Republicans that are they're putting their fingers They're wetting their fingers and holding it to the wind, and they're saying that this is probably a good PR move. Now, I was thinking about that because all the gun control people what could we do? Why do you need all those guns? Calling for more gun control.
Yeah, who needs 40, 50 guns?
Well, you know what? In France, they have had 40 mass terror shootings in 2015 alone. There is probably no European country, other than maybe England, other than France, that has stricter gun control laws than France, okay?
Mm-hmm.
France may have made all... In France, you can't even have a semi-automatic weapon, okay? Automatic, i.e. machine guns, not only are those like they are in this country.
Right.
In France, AR-15s, AK-47s. In France, all semi-automatic guns are illegal. And yet, do people seem to have any trouble getting semi-automatic weapons and worse to commit mass murder? No, since 2015, 4 mass shootings. In fact, I looked this up. I Googled what weapons were used in the Charlie Hebdo attacks. Czechoslovakian-made Model 58 assault rifles. Czechoslovakian-made Scorpion 61 submachine guns, pump-action shotguns, grenade and rocket launchers, and Russian-made Tokarev TT pistols, all except for the pistols.
Are illegal.
Illegal.
Man.
So you can make all the rules they want, just like you could have had more rules. Rules affect good people. They don't affect the bad ones.
Right.
And like I said to start the segment, Erin McCarty, you down at that end of the gopher-shaped broadcast table, you had a far greater digital footprint police record. Your police record is way longer.
Stop!
It just is.
I don't have a police record.
And yours is virtually non-existent.
Exactly.
My point exactly. 19 past 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Linwood Avenue between Mount Zion Road and West Burke-Coons Industrial Loop due to heavy construction. And a major accident on I-20 westbound near Spring Street has things backed up to Swan Lake Road right now. If you know something we don't, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twenty-two past 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron went 12 rounds with Tiger fans during his radio show last night. Several calls were critical of his brief tenure as head coach and or his boss, athletic director Joe Oliva. One caller said Orgeron didn't earn the job, which earned a snappy retort by Orgeron, quote, "I earned the job whether you like it or not." One person said the head coach was an alpha male and Oliva was more feminine, a beta. Orgeron praised his athletic director at length, calling Oliva the best AD he's ever worked for. Orgeron also shed light on some injured Tigers heading into Saturday's game in Florida. He said both Darius Geis and Darrell Williams will be limited in the number of snaps they receive due to nagging injuries. The same for returning defensive lineman Rashard Lawrence. Nose tackle Ed Alexander is expected to be a full go for the Gator game, which may be influenced by Tropical Storm Nate in the Gulf. The Arizona Diamondbacks clubbed their way past Colorado in the National League wildcard game last night at 11-8. The D-backs will face the Dodgers in the NL Division Series that starts tomorrow. Today, a little after 3 p.m., Houston opens their ALDS with Boston at Minute Maid Park. The defending league champion Cleveland Indians welcome the Yankees to town at 6:30. And the high school football week kicks off with a pair of games tonight. Southwood and Byrd at Lee Hedges at 7 in a District 1 5A tilt. The Jackets are 1-1 in league play, 3-2 overall, while the Cowboys are winless. And tonight at Jerry Burton Memorial Stadium at Northwood, Green Oaks welcomes 1A powerhouse Haynesville to town. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.825, Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. I'm just having a mental block on that today. 1017 FM, 710 Keel. What was that again?
Missy Setters is available to chat with
call
us.
her right now.
Yeah, let's do
call
that
her
right
literally right now.
Pass me the phone.
Huge announcement yesterday at the walk-ons. Was it the Uri or the Bossier?
Uri, Shreveport, yeah.
Shreveport one, okay. That walk-ons is going to be the title sponsor for the Independence Bowl for the next 3 years.
Yes.
Which is the same amount of time that we have the contract with ESPN.
Right.
Now, when we had spoken to Miss Missy a week or so ago, she had sort of hinted at the potential that there was somebody on the hook, on the line. And, in fact, we are standing by to chat with Walk-Ons Independence Bowl Executive Director, Miss Missy Setters. Hey, Miss Missy, how are you today?
Good morning.
When we talked to you like about 10 days ago,
You were wiggling.
You sort of hinted at, we got somebody, there's a big announcement going to be coming up, and let me tell you, you said it is a local business, I guessed Louisiana. You said it's somebody local with lots of local ties who is looking to make a national push, and I think your quote was, there is no better venue for them than the Independence Bowl. Turned out to be right, huh?
Did I say all that?
You were so incredibly articulate, I remember virtually everything. Congratulations. It must have been an awesome day and night for you guys.
What's the deal? Yeah.
It was a great day. Like you just said that I supposedly said, is there's no better partner. You've got a Louisiana-based company, Louisiana Bowl game, and we get to highlight what the state is about and what this area is about as far as like cuisine and football and fun and all the things that we enjoy as residents of this state. We're obviously excited.
What does Walk-Ons bring to the table?
Well, they bring name recognition. They bring a growing company that's looking for the brand awareness, and I think over time you'll see their footprint of growth matches our current conference alignments with both our primary conference and our backup conferences. And I think that's important when you're looking for title sponsorship and when a sponsor is looking for who they want to partner with.
She's down at the other end. Pardon me, Missy. Erin's down at the other end of the table, rubbing her fingers together. She wants to talk money. I'm going, that's secret
How
stuff.
much cash did they bring to the table?
Secret stuff.
It's a traditional sponsorship, and Erin, as you well know, you have confidentiality clauses in contracts. And,
Pooey on
we
that.
can't discuss dollar amounts, but it is traditional title sponsorship.
Yeah, but we did a lot of heavy suck up at the beginning of the segment, so you can tell us, right?
Yeah.
You said a lot of things I didn't remember saying.
Walk-ons. Well, you had a big
So
night
it's $1
last
million.
night. Yeah.
Did you hear her say that?
Killed a lot of brain cells last evening. Walk-ons brings some big names to the table, either directly or circuitously, including Drew Brees and even closer to home, Jacob Hester. How did those two, if at all, have anything to do with this?
Oh, Jacob absolutely did. Jacob loves this community, and he's dedicated to this community, and he's shown that through, his part in walk-ons as well as D1, and just being here and trying to do everything he can on a positive note for this community, and that means everything to us, and it should mean everything to the people who live here.
Does this mean the bowl is going to be a mainstay for...
Don't say mainstay. There's
Yeah,
one of those.
that's an ex-sponsor.
There's
Yeah,
one.
okay.
Is there going to be a Poolan? Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
Are you confident that this bowl is here to stay?
Well, this is a 3-year guaranteed agreement, and so for 3 years, we know we're going to be here.
The thing about this is that to solidify this, you needed a big boy sponsor, and this is a big boy sponsor.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, and I got, the text messages started rolling in yesterday afternoon, and there's a lot of excitement around this. I got a text this morning from somebody that just said that they were so fired up about it, and I think that says it's the kind of things we need to hear when you're partnering with somebody, is the excitement on both sides of it and all the potential of what can be done with it.
And I hear LSU's coming.
Y'all are full of insider information this morning.
Truth be told, in a perfect world, because Erin's thinking, on one hand, she's written off the season because they have 2 whole losses. On the other hand, she's thinking...
lost to Troy.
On the other hand, she's thinking, man, in a perfect world, can't you just imagine the very first walk-ons Independence Bowl?
Wouldn't you be secretly happy about that?
Well, yes, obviously you would. Anytime you get a team that's regional, with an outstanding fan base, I think you're excited about it. So,
well,
there's
Erin
a number of teams
McCarty,
out there.
if there were ever a greater example of an enthusiastic fan base, it's the woman at the opposite end of the table.
Thanks, Missy, for telling us LSU's coming. Walk-ons brought $1 million to the table. It's you're full of info.
Can't buy interviews like this. Missy Setters, Executive Director, Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. Congratulations and thank you for joining us on such quick notice.
All right, thank you guys.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time. It's Ruben on KEEL.
The intersection at Greenwood Road and Joella Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping a close eye on that heavy backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound due to multiple accidents. It's backed up from Spring Street past Swan Lake Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warm today, sun mixing with clouds, high 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunshine, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Could a shakeup be on the way at Willis-Knighton? Greg Adams takes a closer look.
Willis-Knighton's Health System Medical Executive Committee has issued a no-confidence statement directed at Willis-Knighton CEO James Elrod. The USA Today Network reports they have a copy of the letter which reads, quote, "Our preference would be that Mr. Elrod voluntarily step down from his position and retire with dignity and respect due him for his great service to both Willis-Knighton and the Shreveport-Bossier community. Should he prove incapable of graciously stepping aside, you, as the board, must initiate a transition to new leadership," end quote. The letter cited multiple reasons for the no-confidence move, including the doctor's assessment that Elrod had difficulties with disagreements and was unable to respond to the changes in the healthcare market. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Greg Adams.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prater will be talking about criminal justice reform today. He set a news conference for 10:30. Now, under the Justice Reinvestment Act, the state will release hundreds of prison inmates over the coming months. The first wave of newly freed inmates set to happen November 1st, when more than 1,400 inmates are set to walk out of jails across the state. About 200 of them are in Caddo, Bossier, and Webster parishes. Corruption at City Hall. Matt Parker with that.
According to a report from KTBS, the city of Shreveport is being investigated by the FBI on possible corruption charges. The report says that the federal authorities are looking into the possibility of shakedowns and kickbacks at City Hall dating back to the Glover administration. Lynn Braggs and David Aubrey are two members being spotlighted in the probe. It's alleged that Braggs and Aubrey, who have worked in both administrations, acted as a go-between for companies seeking city contracts and the city in a pay-to-play scheme. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Good news could be on the way for Shreveport City workers, including police officers and firefighters. Sergeant Michael Carter tells KEEL News this is needed to help keep officers on the force.
We have a new generation coming about now, and they put dollars to risk, and they do real tight assessments on their personal risk compared to what they're paid. And this is a step in a positive direction.
City Council still has to approve the mayor's budget. Water officials in DeSoto Parish granted $2.3 million loan from the Department of Health to improve the water system. The parish will use the money to install a new treatment system that will let the parish with clean water with less chlorine and less chemicals. A man shot just after our city wrapped up National Night Out has died. 65-year-old Benny Livingston died after he was shot in the head. Police believe Livingston saw his stolen pickup truck near Milam and Hearn and called police. However, the call got disconnected. At this time, investigators think the person who was driving the stolen truck shot him when they realized they were being followed. Those seeking to know the motive of Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock have had little to chase than hints and shadows. Unlike many other mass killers, Paddock led such a private life that no one seemed to know him well. Meantime, gun talk show host Tom Gresham says it's a mistake right now to talk about guns and more restrictions.
Well, we've been doing a lot, and we are not the problem. You got either a crazy guy or a terrorist or maybe a domestic terrorist, and we are focusing on what? The hardware? Would we rather that he got a Ryder truck and had a higher body count like they did in East France?
Police have questioned Paddock's girlfriend extensively. She has not been charged. Michigan lawmakers have voted to prohibit local taxes on food, drinks, and gum. Right now, there's not anyone considering such a tax in the state, but the vote considered a preemptive strike against any municipality that might consider levying a tax on soda and other sugary and artificially sweetened items. Mostly sunny today with a high temp near 88, right now 72. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Why not? Why not?
I can't read the last part.
Why?
Because it's really scandalous.
So?
Okay, it's
No,
on
wait,
you.
wait. Look, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Okay, let's just take a second because you got this text about 30 seconds ago.
Yes.
And
This is someone with big-time connections at WK. I'm going to leave it at that.
Willis Knighton.
Yeah.
So let's give, if you guys don't know, this is a huge story. Now, here's the deal. James Elrod is
He's the CEO, head honcho, head cheese at Willis Knighton. Right.
So what happened, there seems to be, I don't want to say a revolution, but there are people who don't think he's doing a very good job. What's the deal?
Well, let's be careful how we say this, because Willis Knighton's Medical Executive Committee, this is not the board, this is the Medical Executive Committee, is demanding that Jim Elrod resign gracefully or be fired by the Board of Trustees.
So obviously, I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that they're saying we've got the board behind us. I mean, they're not going to say you're going to get fired by the board if they have not yet already spoken and or collaborated with the board. Is that fair? Is that unfair?
I don't know. But now here's the message I just got.
Hold on a second. So has Mr. Elrod responded to any of this officially?
Not officially.
So
no.
I said to Erin about an hour ago or so, I said, well, why don't you just call Mr. Elrod and see if he'd like to come on and talk to us
he's not going to do
about that. And she said, remember now, about a little less than a year ago.
Yeah, he was named our most influential person.
In the Shreveport-Bossier area, the most influential man
right.
in the Arklatex. And we put out feelers. We requested he come on and talk to us about his winning that prestigious award. And he said,
and
well,
his people said he doesn't like to do any media.
Okay, but things have changed a little bit.
But that was for a good, happy story.
But things have changed a little bit.
I don't think he needs us to win this little battle to fight it.
Is he necessarily in the same power position he was X number of months ago?
Wait till I read you this.
When the doctors say the board's going to fire you unless, which means I'm assuming...
That's not accurate. Let me finish. Let me read you this.
Wait a second. No, read what you first said. That the medical board... read
the
that
Medical
again.
Executive Committee is demanding Elrod resign gracefully or be fired by the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
This committee doesn't control the Board of Trustees.
Yeah, but why would they say he's going to be fired by the board if they have not already spoken?
That's what they're asking the board to do.
They're
saying, we want you to resign.
Don't you think they've already talked to the board?
Well, let me read you this.
Because they seem to be saying, if you don't resign, the board will fire you. And if they haven't already spoken to them, that's a
leap.
Why would they make that empty threat? So, a couple of minutes ago,
someone with very high connections texted me this, and I don't think I can read it all, but I'll try.
I think you can.
Called secret meeting of the Willis Knighton board today. The board met on Tuesday and voted to back Elrod. But some board members, and mostly doctors, are concerned about Elrod's plan to get rid of all involved in this plot to get rid of him.
Which would be the entire medical committee?
I guess. Anybody who voted. And then the last line of this is what I don't know.
In other words,
I want to read this.
Do you infer from that text that the concern is that there will be hell to pay for anybody who
has opposed him?
Yeah.
This last line.
Read the whole thing again, and
okay,
don't let me.
I haven't gotten to the last line yet,
go
which
ahead.
I'm squeamish about.
Start from the beginning.
Called secret meeting of the Willis Knighton board today. So they're meeting today. The board met on Tuesday and voted to back Elrod. But some board members, mostly doctors, are concerned about Elrod's plan to get rid of all involved in this plot to get rid of him. And this last line, Elrod, most evil person that I have ever met. Dang.
Is that from inside WK?
Yeah. Up high. Yeah. Wow. Man. This is a medical shakeup like our community has never seen.
Maybe not.
It all started with when Willis Knighton announced they were terminating 200 employees. Was it last week?
And the WK explanation, which I assume comes from Mr. Elrod, the WK explanation was, look, we're taking on, he sort of blamed John Bell and the Medicaid expansion. And bluntly put, taking on Medicaid patients is basically a license to lose money. Because the government not only pays about 6 or 7 cents on the dime, they take forever to pay.
Yeah.
So when the state, according to, in this case, Mr. Elrod and the WK higher ups, say that we are being forced to take on these Medicaid patients because of Medicaid expansion, because of John Bell, then we're losing money.
Right.
And any doctor anywhere will tell you that's why private physicians either take 0 Medicaid patients or limit the number of Medicaid patients they take, because it's a license, to repeat myself, a license to lose money.
Sure.
Okay, on to your streetlight story.
Let me just tell you, this goes back for me a long time, back to the Cedric Glover administration, when traffic lights were out all over town. I don't mean traffic lights, I mean street lights. And particularly going into downtown, they were all out. It was a mess. And during the campaign, I was questioning the candidates. Can you at least fix the damn street lights?
That was basically
pretty much.
If they wanted your vote,
I went on my rant. You had to fix street lights.
Replace the lights.
Well, Mayor Ollie Tyler told me, I will take care of it. I will fix them. Victoria Provenza, I will fix them. I mean, they all told me, I will fix them. Mayor Tyler fixed them. Going into downtown, it was all beautiful, all humpty-dory.
What was that word again?
Humpty-dory.
I've heard that before.
But now, Robert, my fur is flying again. Because I travel to work on I-20 every morning early. It's dark. I get to about Lakeshore, and then all the way from Lakeshore almost to Juella right now, every street light is out. Every one of them. There's not one light on.
So if during the campaign you said the lights are out, can you fix the lights? And the candidate said, in this case, Miss Ollie, I'll fix the lights.
And she did.
And the lights got fixed. Now the lights are out. Wouldn't that mean that the burden of light replacement falls to the city of Shreveport?
You would think so, but at the time there was questions about who's responsible for what
Well,
lights.
you started with, because it was I-20, you started with...
DOTD.
Yeah.
And DOTD sent me a letter back saying we have a memorandum of understanding with the city of Shreveport. And that was included to the mayor and Brian Crawford. And then they responded back, well, we'll check to see SWEPCO. Well, I got a reply from SWEPCO. SWEPCO's not responsible for the lights on I-20. Here's my problem. You've been in office for 3 years. How do you not know now who's in charge of what lights? I'm thinking, get them on some sort of plan. I know I'm ranting, but let's get them on some sort of system about a crew that goes out once a month and check the lights.
You have made the point since time immemorial.
It's ridiculous.
You have said folks fly into Shreveport. They come in on I-20. The first thing they see.
They drive on a dark I-20.
And
We're about to have our state fair where thousands of people are going to converge on our community, and you can't even see the fairgrounds because there's no freaking lights.
So you've been sending out emails, bunches
Fix the damn lights and get a crew on a schedule to continue doing it.
You've been sending out a bunch of emails since yesterday early. You sent one to this, or was it the day before?
Yeah.
So the DOTD said it's the city. The city says, well, we'll talk to SWEPCO.
Yeah.
SWEPCO says
it's not us.
It's the city.
Well, they say it's not us, is all SWEPCO said. We're not responsible for that. So now, please, somebody figure out who's in charge of the lights and do your dang jobs.
848, 101. You okay?
No.
Y'all done?
No.
Okay.
I'll rest.
848, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic and weather and your money now coming up next.
The intersection of Greenwood Road and Juella Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping a close eye on that heavy backed-up traffic on I-20 westbound due to multiple accidents. It's backed up from Spring Street past Swan Lake Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sun mixing with clouds today. A warm day with a high of 88. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 65. Sunny, high 88 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Right now, 70 degrees, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
There's an epidemic of fake news in
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
There's an epidemic of fake news in America. It's on Facebook, it's on Google, it's on NBC, it's on CNN.
Americans average about 11 lies per week. There are major ones, there are minor ones. But did you know that the more lies you tell, your physical and mental health declines? Conversely, as the number of lies decrease, our health improves. Might this be true for our nation's health as well?
There's no way our republic can be healthy when we can't trust our government and we can't trust the fourth estate, the media, who's supposed to be the watchdog of the government.
It's not that the American people can't handle the truth. It's just that they shouldn't be expected to manage their lives in the absence of it.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin on the way out. But before we go, I want to talk about Twin City Appliance. Okay, Erin and I, this is not an argument. And in fact, last couple of days, we're going up and down the hall. You know what we've discovered? I'm not making this up.
What?
A little bit of numerical extrapolation here.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of Americans, ice makers, are broken.
Mine's on the fritz.
We're 2 out of 3 in this room.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, the only ice maker in their home who works right now is Matt.
Booty head over there.
Who would have seen this coming?
Mm-hmm.
If your ice maker or other major appliance in your home is on the, as Erin says, fritz, time to pick up the phone and call Twin City Appliance.
318-688-0253 or check them out online, TwinCityAppliance.com.
Not only can they fix any major appliance in your home despite the cost of said appliance, the expensive, the kind that I have, they're factory trained. Factory trained technicians are constantly being updated in how the stuff works and how to fix it.
They'll get you back in ice again. Twin City Appliance.
Online, TwinCityAppliance.com. Call 318-688-0253.
The family of a California man who was killed in the Barcelona terrorist attack filed a lawsuit this week, claiming that Google, Facebook, and Twitter played a major role in the murder of their father, raising the question, should social media be held accountable for terrorism? Kim Commando with your Thursday Consumer Tech Update. The latest lawsuit says that for years, Google, Facebook, and Twitter knowingly and recklessly provided ISIS with online accounts to spread propaganda, to raise money, and recruit new terrorists. No one can deny that charge. Social media has a dismal record in taking down terrorist accounts. They say that their staff is overwhelmed, but these are billion-dollar companies. The argument won't fly. There are similar lawsuits, the Orlando nightclub shooting, San Bernardino, and Paris. All of them hinge on U.S. law giving victims ways to go after people and organizations that provide support to terrorist activities against the United States. Now, let's see if our laws really do protect us. And our tech news is updated all the time at news.commando.com. That's KOMANDO.
Why just listen to the Kim Commando Show when there's so much more? Why not watch the whole show in high definition on your phone, tablet, or television?
This is so cool because you're so nice.
Or download the podcast in crystal clear digital audio. Watch or listen on your